Hi there, Bill DeWeese from voice-over-training.org. Just getting into my studio this morning and sitting down with, this is my morning ritual. It is my hot, freshly brewed cup of Dunkin' Donuts Original Blend Coffee. This is my magic voiceover juice. Any success that I have in voiceovers, I owe it to Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Otherwise, I would not be thinking clearly. The cobwebs would still be there. It does everything that I need to get me up and going in the morning. You know, I had a great conversation last night with a voiceover talent. We were just talking about the frustration that he is having in building his voiceover business. Now, this is a guy who's talented. He has a website. He has a good demo, and he, if I remember correctly, for the past 5 years, has really been trying to build it up into a substantial full-time income, and he's gotten work here and there and clients here and there, but to build that momentum to where he can consistently get the work and generate the income, that has been the frustration. And as I talk to voiceover talent from all over the country, it seems to me, my observation is that is the biggest gap. There are many talented, and you're probably one of them. You have the talent. You may even have a good website and a good demo, but being good does not equate to making money in voiceovers. You got to have it, and it's a good start, but you have to know how to grow a business. And I laid awake late last night thinking about this. You know, what does it take? And you may be asking, well, what qualifies you to say this? Well, I'm glad you asked. I made the commitment to become a full-time voiceover talent about 5 years ago, and I was put in that situation through I'd been downsized in a corporate job that I was in, and I really needed to be able to support my family. I really needed to find ways to make money, and I needed to do it fast. And I thought about becoming a voiceover talent for a long time. Long story short, I did it, and I used my marketing and business background to build a voiceover business within 12 months of beginning my voiceover business. And it didn't start off full time. I mean, you know, I did that and some other stuff in the early goings, but within 12 months I was generating a 6-figure income, which in and of itself is good. But then you have to ask, well, what has happened since then? Well, since then my business has grown every year that I've had it. And my first quarter of this year was up 9% over my first quarter of last year. So it has not only sustained itself, but it has grown, and in all honesty, shows no signs of slowing down. This week, I am absolutely inundated. It was difficult just to take the time to record this video. I've got hundreds of pages of narration and an audio book. I've got commercials waiting to be recorded, but it's due to the business plan and the marketing plan that I put in place that I want to touch base with you briefly on. So, assuming you have a reasonable level of talent, assuming you have a website, assuming you have a good demo. So how do you turn all of that? How do you parlay all of that into a substantial income, a full-time business that can support you and your family, and maybe even beyond that? Well, there are 3 things to look at, and I boil it down to this. This is a 3-point outline, very simple: acquisition, retention, and communication. Think in terms of ARC, A-R-C, acquisition, retention, communication. Briefly, client acquisition. How do you get clients? Well, you've got to have a multi-prong approach. If you rely on a one-legged stool on this, chances are you will not succeed. What are those legs? Well, I would certainly try to get as many agents as I possibly can. You may have heard me say before, I've got 14 agents because the more agents I have, the more audition opportunities I have. But in addition to that, there are pay-to-play sites where you pay to be on those sites and get the opportunity to respond to auditions. I have in the past, I've made quite a bit of money through those. As of late, especially when the bigger sites has changed the algorithm and the methodology of how they distribute auditions and such, and that well has pretty much dried up. My experience, and I've experimented with other pay-to-play sites. I'm on one of the bigger ones right now. In all honesty, don't get much work through that and haven't through my experiments with other pay-to-play sites. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. It can be part of your marketing plan, but don't rely on it. So you've got that. Craigslist. And a lot of debate as to whether voice artists can find legitimate work on Craigslist. I have made a small fortune finding good clients and a lot of good paying jobs on Craigslist. So, I mean, do what you want with it. But like I said, I make a lot of money to finding work on Craigslist. And as the marketplace changes, more people with bigger jobs are using online outlets such as Craigslist to cast jobs like that. So that's another leg. Marketing yourself to casting directors, marketing yourself to production companies. You should be on every voiceover roster that you can get your voice on. Also, you can build your business through referrals. And I want to give props to my voiceover friend, David Brower, who, by the way, I recently interviewed. And if you on my website, if you look through my video blogs, you will find a video interview with David Brower that is well worth your time to watch. He built 65% of his business, I believe he said, has come from referrals. And a nice chunk of my business that I get now has come through referrals of other clients. You make clients happy, they are glad to share you with their friends because it makes them look good when they can refer a good person like you for the work. So the first prong, client acquisition. And you need to have multiple streams of clients coming into your business, of multiple streams of work. Second, client retention. Once you get clients, you want to keep them because it is much cheaper, it's much easier, it's less time consuming, less expensive to get more work from current clients than it is to go out and find new clients. So once you get a client, you need to do everything in your power to keep them. Well, how do you do that? Well, I ask my clients, I say, talk to me about what is it that makes you want to work with some voiceover talent and not others. And the biggest thing above anything else is responsiveness. Do they respond to me when I tell them I have a job? Do they get back to me with a proposal? If I agree to give them a job and we agree on a deadline, do they finish the work on the time that they have agreed to do it? Responsiveness. Or do they just disappear seemingly off the face of the earth and I never hear from them again? So if you communicate and you stay in touch with your clients, you're responsive to their needs, you go above and beyond, you make sure you get pickups and corrections done in a timely manner. Again, if they feel like you have not abandoned them, if you hear them and you're being sensitive to their needs and you're completing projects within the agreed upon time, then they consider that responsive and they're likely to come back to you again and again, as well as refer you out to other businesses and friends that they have or know. So there's client acquisition, there's client retention. The third thing is this: communication, marketing communication. And coming out of a marketing and business background, for me, this is right at the top of my to-do list. And if you want to get clients, if you want to keep clients, you have to somehow, in the midst of their busyness and in the clutter of their, the communication that's coming into them, everybody and everything vying for their attention, you have to remain on their radar, within their field of consciousness. And that is no small task. So a marketing communication plan becomes absolutely critical. Think in terms of 6 to 12 touches per year. A touch is just an opportunity that somehow you put your name, your voice in front of that client or that prospect. And there are a number of ways to do that: through phone calls, postcards, emails, and there are other ways, and you can be creative. But the point is, and the important thing is that somehow you find a way to keep your name within their consciousness, so that when they think about voiceover talent, don't assume, believe me, they're not thinking about you and me. We're not the first thing on their mind. They've got 100 other things to think of. And when it's time to get voiceover talent, they might think, oh, well, I'll just go over here to this website and I'll cast this job here. Well, instead, they need to be thinking, or at least I want my clients to think, you know what, I think Bill DeWeese would be good for this job. So I do everything within my power to make sure that I'm top of mind, that when they think voiceover, they think of my name. So you want to acquire clients through multiple streams of your marketing efforts. You want to be able to keep those clients, client retention, and then you need to have a communication plan to make sure your name stays in front of them. And if you do those three things, you will build a full-time voiceover business that is sustainable from year to year. Hey, you've worked hard, right? You deserve it. So I wish you all the best. Thanks for checking in. I hope you find these videos helpful. And for more resources to help to not only inspire you, hopefully, but to equip you, make sure you stop by voice-over-training.org. Wish you all the best. I'd love to hear from you. If you have comments, questions, thoughts, feel free to drop me an email at voiceoverexpert@gmail.com.